Good evening. You are watching Ubuntu channel, and tonight on a point of view, we have a couple of stories that we have to look at. Those stories that have made headlines throughout the week, and we'll be looking at a story, get to analyze it. We add our voice to it, and in the studio, I'll be joined with, by a couple of people that will be adding their voices, to the stories that we have. This is Ubuntu channel, and welcome to the program Point of View. Let's get straight to the first story, and on the other side, we get to analyze it.
There's a complicated legacy on the African continent. The fairy tale is that Queen Elizabeth went up the treetops here in Kenya, a princess, and came down a queen, because it's when she was here in Kenya that she learned that her dad had died and she was to be the queen. But that also was the start of the 8 years after that the Kenyan colonial government cracked down. The British colonial government cracked down brutally on the Mau Mau rebellion against the colonial administration. They herded more than 1 million people into concentration camps where they were tortured and dehumanized. And so across the African continent, there have been people who are saying, I will not mourn for Queen Elizabeth because my ancestors suffered great atrocities under her people and that she never fully acknowledged that. And that is why among African Twitter, among Black Twitter, and on social media, there's been many people who are ungovernable with takes that maybe don't quite follow the official state religion, which is why you see a statement like this from the South African opposition party, the Economic Freedom Fighters, that said, we do not mourn the death of Elizabeth, because to us, her death is a reminder of a very tragic period in this country and Africa's history. During her 70-year reign as queen, she never once acknowledged the atrocities that her family inflicted on native people that Britain invaded across the world. If there is really life and justice after death, may Elizabeth and her ancestors get what they deserve. There are people on social media who are calling out this sort of statements for saying this is not the right time, you should honor the dead. But the critics say, when is really the right time to talk about the legacy of colonialism and the many, many after effects that continue to live with us today? But many African leaders are paying tribute to Queen Elizabeth, including the Kenyan President-elect William Ruto, who's called her 70-year reign and guiding of the Commonwealth as admirable. You saw, for instance, the statement from President Muhammadu Buhari of Nigeria that said, my family and the more than 200 million Nigerians have learned with immense sadness of the passing of Queen Elizabeth and the end of her unique and wonderful 70-year reign. She was the only British sovereign known to 90% of our population. And while there are people who supported President Buhari for that, he has gotten a lot of criticism for that sort of sentiment. To use the slang of the times, he's gotten ratioed for many people seeing him ignoring the impact of British colonialism in Nigeria. Michael.
Yeah, honoring the woman, but acknowledging.
All right, the passing on of, the Queen has come with, mixed feelings from, especially Africa. Just like we heard in the clip, others are saying they wouldn't, want to mourn the Queen due to, atrocities that were done by her people, and she seemingly never got interested. Now, the question is it a good thing, to undertake that route, or what is your viewpoint on this one, Himba?
I think Chaza.
Good evening and welcome to the program. Go right ahead and add your voice to the piece of news that we are from watching.
Thank you so much and good evening, viewers. Before I go any further, may I say condolences to the royal family, and we mourn with them as they are mourning their beloved mother, their beloved grandmother, their beloved auntie. We are mourning with them. For me, Chaza, I've got a different view. A lot happened in the past, and as men would have put it, that's their own opinion. But personally, I would say I'm mourning a woman who was who embraced everyone. She's the woman who is behind the Commonwealth. She's the woman who tried hard to abolish some of these activities which others are condemning. And I would also say for me, it's not really time for us to start thinking of what we went through. Yes, it was bad. What our forefathers went through, it was not right, and no one would support it. But at the moment, all I'm doing is a leader, the world leader, and I'm mourning a woman who had a heart for everyone, a woman who influenced. And apparently, I'm also mourning, and I thank God that I'm part of the people that they've lived to witness the longest lived monarchy at the moment. So I say, may her soul rest in peace, and until we meet again on the other side of the world.
Thank you so much, Himba. We do appreciate, your viewpoint there. Mr. Muyaba, Ribet.
Evening, Chaza. Good evening, viewers.
Good evening. Thank you. You are too faint. Kindly just increase the volume on your device.
Okay.
Okay, and you may go right ahead and add your voice to that story.
Yeah, I want also to send my sincere condolences to the royal family. We are Africans. We cannot run away from it. And as Himba had put it, we were once colonized. And these are things actually that we don't have a choice most of the time, because some of us were born while the colonial had already left. So if a bad thing had happened at that time, I don't think that now she can be held accountable, that now she should not be recognized, that she is no more. No. What happened right now? We are sovereign countries as Africans. I don't think that there is a country that is still controlled by by any colonial master. Of course, it has got negative and positive things that colonial brought about, but we cannot dwell in that because now she is late. I think what we need to do is just to mourn together as a Commonwealth country like Zambia. So we have got no option but to just mourn our Queen Mother. And if we say that no, we are condemning those that are actually saying that we are not, we need to mourn her as Africans because they brought atrocities. Let me give you an example. Like right now, in Africa, the Chinese are all over. Now, for example, if a Chinese president dies, and because what they are doing now, the Chinese, they are building these Confucius institutions in these universities. Or what they are trying to do is that they are teaching the Chinese Mandarin. Then this is part of colonialism. But now, when people now get to know the Mandarin, then you say, no, this is bad. Now, if a Chinese president dies, you say, no, we should not mourn them. No, we had no option, but the colonial past, now we have freedom. We are sovereign countries. We are not governed by the Queen, no? Just she's the head of the Commonwealth countries. It's like the way we are saying that SADC, for example. There's a chairman at that particular time. It doesn't mean that all of us now we cease to be sovereign. No, we are a sovereign country now. If, like, for example, now the Queen has died, we just have to send condolences and mourn with it. Those Commonwealth countries, those that can do that chooses to mourn. If I choose not to mourn, for me, I think there are no qualms. Let those that don't want to mourn, they should not condemn those that are mourning. If you choose not to mourn, keep quiet. Let those who want to mourn the Queen. I rest my case.
All right. Thank you so much. We do appreciate, for your viewpoint there. Without much ado, we quickly get to the next story. And on the other side, we get to add our voices to it.
The Constitutional Court has ruled that Bowman Lusambo and Joseph Malanji are eligible to recontest Kawushi and Kwacha parliamentary seats respectively, as nullification does not mean disqualification. Speaking to the media after the court judgment, lawyer Makebi Zulu says the Electoral Commission of Zambia needed to ask the court for the interpretation of the clause before wasting people's time on giving statements and rejecting the nomination papers of the PF candidates in Kawushi and Kwacha constituencies. He has since assured that Bowman Lusambo and Joseph Malanji will appear on the ballot on the 15th of September 2022 by-elections.
I think this judgment shows the fact that the days of impunity are over. ECZ could not have taken it upon themselves to interpret the law. The law that was set on very clearly in the case of the Law Association of Zambia versus the Attorney General. ECZ chose to ignore the guidance that was given by the court in that case and made their own decision. They have no power to do so. The best they should have done is tell the people of Zambia to say, we do not understand this clause, we're going to ask for an interpretation at the Constitutional Court in the manner that we did. In doing this, we knew very well that our clients were on firm ground, even when they went to file their nominations. We knew they were on firm ground. However, following on that decision, the returning officers decided to mislead themselves and take a wrong position to be the right position. Now we have been vindicated that someone is controlling ECZ and giving them wrong opinions as to what the law is. But today, the Constitutional Court has settled that matter with finality. And Bowman Lusambo and Joseph Malanji will be back on the ballot. We will fight to the hilt until they appear on the ballot because the court has made it abundantly clear.
What has the court said?
Well, the court has said nullification is not disqualification. Therefore, those whose seats were nullified and were not expressly disqualified by the court are eligible to stand. So Bowman Lusambo and Joseph Malanji are eligible to stand.
That is about it.
The anti-corruption
This statement has been necessitated because of some misconceptions that have come out in the public regarding the import, the effect of the decision of the Constitutional Court. Some sections of society have issued what we consider as government reckless statements which have the possibility of causing anarchy in terms of the decision and what it means. So, as custodians of the public interest, in order to safeguard our citizens and to avoid a situation which can result in anarchy, we thought it fit to just give a statement clarifying the position, as it were, from the perspective of government. This statement, of course, we do appreciate that these are court matters, and therefore we do not intend to delve into the merits of the decision that was made, but rather to give a snapshot of what transpired. So the starting point for the members of the public to understand is that the court process which was the subject of the decision of the Constitutional Court yesterday was in relation to a press statement that was issued by the ECZ on the 24th of August, in which it had given a notification that it would not accept nominations from persons who had caused the by-election, or something. That was the import of the press statement. This prompted the colleagues who are affected, Honorable Malanji and Honorable Lusambo respectively, to exercise their constitutional right to go before court and seek relief. And the relief that was being sought specifically, what they were asking the court to do as they went before the Constitutional Court was, allow me to read as follows. They asked for 4 reliefs in the following terms. One, which I'm reading verbatim. whether the decision of the Electoral Commission of Zambia dated 24th August 2022 is illegal, now and void. That's one. Two, whether the applicants are eligible to contest the 15th September 2022 by-elections. That was number two. Number three, whether fresh nominations should be conducted to allow the applicants participate in the by-elections. And number four, what is meant by causing a vacancy in the National Assembly as stated in Article 72 of the Constitution. So you will see from the questions, just perhaps to break it down a little bit, that what they were asking the Constitutional Court to do was to declare that press statement null and void, and also asking the Constitutional Court whether or not they would be eligible for this forthcoming by-election on the 15th, and third, whether fresh nominations should be conducted. Those were the questions in addition to the fourth one. Now, the members of the public will want to know that the Constitutional Court declined to address questions 1 to 3. It did not pronounce itself on those issues, whether the statement was null and void, whether the two are eligible for this forthcoming by-election, and whether or not, as the three questions that I put forward, and whether or not there should be fresh nominations. The court said this is outside of the matters that we can deal with, therefore we are not addressing our minds to this. We need to be very clear, it's very important. The court only dealt with the fourth question, which is the import of Article 72. And in doing so, the court simply said, we have discussed this issue before, we have decided this question before in the Law Association of Zambia case, and their decision was that a disqualification and a nullification are not one and the same thing. The court did not, in doing so, make any order directed at ECZ to conduct fresh nominations as requested by the applicants. It did not declare them eligible for the 15th as requested, and of course it did not declare the decision null and void. The court declined to address those issues. So all we have is a determination by the court that a nullification, as was previously, a nullification and a disqualification are not one and the same thing.
There we are. We have, different positions there, different holdings there. We have the concord, we have the interpretation from the Justice Minister, and we have, the position, of ECZ. What's your viewpoint on this issue, Bowman and Malanji? Let me start with you, Lawrence, as I welcome you. Good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Chaza. Good evening to the viewers and the panelists around.
All right, so, please go ahead and add your voice to the story that we have at hand.
My understanding in this issue is a little bit mixed up as well. First and foremost, it's good that even the Honorable Minister acknowledges that the court declared that nullification is not disqualification. So, let's put it in terms of the two seats that were nullified. In this case, both of them, none of the candidates were disqualified. That means, to me, they do qualify to stand. The only question that begs an answer right now is if ECZ should conduct fresh nominations, and that is where I do not understand. And to the best of my knowledge, that matter is supposed to be determined by the High Court. But the issue of qualifications, I think it was dealt with very well by the Constitutional Court, which said disqualification is not nullification, and those seats were only disqualified, and the seats were only nullified, and the two gentlemen were never disqualified. So that's how I understand this situation at hand.
Thank you so much, Lawrence. Ruben, good evening and welcome to the program.
Good
Ruben,
evening, Chaza, and good evening to our viewers.
nice one. Please go ahead and add your voice to the story that we have at hand.
Thanks very much, Chaza. It's it's quite interesting story to hear that someone is being pronounced that they're eligible, but still they can't contest the elections there. Um, One thing that I don't want to go much into this issue because this issue is still active in the High Court, but for me, it would have been interesting to see Bowman and Mr. Malanji contesting these elections, really to see if people still want uh, uh, really to see if the Kabushi and Zitkwacha constituency people still want them to be their representative in Parliament. However, this for now, as things stand, they are not eligible, as this is had earlier pronounced. We wait to see for the outcome in the High Court, and it will be it will be there. It will be coming up on Monday. Yeah, on Monday. Still waiting to see what happens if the High Court was to say they should file in the new. They should file in the fresh nominations. It will be chaos and drama altogether because I know ECZ have already spent and I'm sure they've printed the ballot papers and everything seems to be uh, ready for for the elections on coming this Wednesday. Thanks, Chaza.
Thank you so much. I've seen you, CJ. You've come on video, geared up to add your voice to this story. Please go ahead.
Good evening, Chaza. Good evening, viewers. Ah, sometimes I wonder why should the constitution be so complicated that almost on everything you need an interpretation? Is it that it's meant for the upper mwambas or what? Okay, because this is supposed to be legislation that is there for the citizens, for the people. But it seems everything has got a complication somewhere. Okay, even on this same one, okay, you find, and the story that is on most of the media channels, they are saying Bowman, Nusambo, and Malanji are eligible, that the court has said they're eligible. But again, looking at the judgment, the way it's placed, okay, and even from the explanation of the justice minister, where he says they haven't ruled on the first three, they've only tackled one aspect, that is the interpretation of causing a vacancy in terms of a nullification or disqualification. How I wish our constitution could be simplified so that all these lacunas that are lacooning the other lacunas are sorted out. Because I tell you, our constitution is something. It's something else. It's something else.
Nyopombana.
Everything chifunika interpretation we want to. We. No.
All right, we do feel your pain, and we do appreciate your voice that you've added onto that news item. Let me invite Rebet. Rebet, quickly your voice to this story.
Thank you, Chaza. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think mine will be. You remember what happened when the issue of Edgar Lungu's eligibility? Judge Munalula gave a dissent. I don't know whether it's the term. I don't know. It's like the opposing judgment. So again, on this one again, she didn't say anything. She will also issue an opposing judgment. I would call it that way, but there's a term that you call that judgment, where she's not agreeing with the majority. So for me, I think that there alone, it means there's a problem. Now, the problem that we have because when a judge give a dissenting judgment, it means that she's disagreeing. So on that alone, for me, it gives the signal to say that regardless of this, even if the majority, because now the problem is that the judgment actually will be taken because the majority have agreed. So if the opposing judge says that no, this is not right, of course the majority will win. But now, this is now where the problem is, now where we need to point that, because there's a problem, amongst the judges, they cannot even agree. So, which means there's a problem there. So, we need to sort this constitution out as the CJ said, because we will not manage that everything. We need to go to Constitution Court to interpret. And you know, what surprises me is that what does it mean when you say that a person who has caused a by-election is not eligible? What does that mean? Because that is in there in the Constitution. And then again, you go back again. Within the Constitution, again, you are saying, no, actually, this person are eligible. But the very people that have caused a by-election, have you seen now? So, please, I think maybe let's just do away with the law, because the law will bring chaos in this country.
Mr. Muyawa there, just hold it there. We will not allow you to go further than that. Thank you so much. Himba, quickly do come in.
First and foremost, I want to say the PF should be grateful to the UPND government. Boasting, and they should be so grateful that they are even enjoying this law. And me, as others have said, I'm going to say our constitution is very porous. But the sad part is that even the lawyers themselves, they fail to interpret it. Ingai ife mba group 4 zakwanisa bwanji kuchita interpret vene vake vanaenda kumapunziro vakangiwa. So we are appealing to the people in authority to make these things simple, such that nikavelenga straightforward, not vangoti shusha iyai, we are causing my elections. On another hand, if you seriously think about it, Uncle Bobo vana causing my elections, ndiye causing my problems etiripo. So how can the same problem child mumpas again mumpata? You know, sivipanga sense. So anyway, PF vakazitasha kuti vachitako na enjoy vaenda na kuchani nimvera apa vandani venzokamba valoya vaku Green Party. No, he's not trying to confuse us. He knows very well. Me, I'm going to go as an ordinary Zambian and a person who felt the pinch which the Green Party put us in. Ababa Green, you know.
Okay, Himba, just hold it there. Hold it there. Mr. Mkelewai, I've seen you, but to spare you to add your voice to the next item, Mr. Producer, please quickly take us to the next news item.
Yeah, it can be series Chaza. Tireke.
Himba, I am sparing you for the next item also, considering that we still have a number of stories. And
I'm sure even Mkelewai wants to contribute on this. TC as a Tireke Tikamba citizen. Deliver us.
Himba, CJ as the referee, what do you say? Should I allow these two to continue before we go to the next item? Your mic is on mute, Mr. Referee.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, just be strict with them. Himba to conclude in a minute. Then Mr. Mkelewai also a minute on this one.
All right, you are fortunate. The video assistant referee has said so. 1 minute, Himba. 1 minute, Mr. Mkelewai. Let's go, Himba. Conclude in 1 minute.
Okay, I'll surrender my minute to Mkelewai. I know he's got a lot to say, so he's got 2 minutes, and you speak on my behalf. I know you speak my mind. Beautiful,
Mr. Mkelewai. Over to you. You are on mute. Kindly unmute your mic. Still on mute. We still cannot hear you, Mr. Mkelewa.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Let me go back then to my camera. I can't see myself. Can you see me?
Yes, we can see you.
Okay. Oh, there I am. Okay. Yes. Thank you so much. I don't want to injure on your program, or rather on your time. The issue has already been settled. You've already talked about it. You have raised those questions about the lacunas in our constitution. That has been the cry from the time immemorial. We want to fix the issue of these laws that are being misinterpreted by either our judges or our legal experts. However, having said that, let these two candidates not hold the Zambian people at ransoms. PF has so many members that they could have actually candidate that they could have nominated to say, can you go in and represent us? If they did their job, definitely they were going to carry on. Unfortunately, they know that those people who were there, who won before, they oiled so many people that those people still feel indebted up to now. And that's why you can see the support they're giving, because they feel vindicted. They want to prove the point. They want to fulfill their promise. They promised that we're going to fulfill. We're going to vote you in. And they did that through dubious means, which the court found out. And now they're going back to the court to ask for relief, whether the court can stay the election. Unfortunately, the by-election will go through, but we cannot comment so much on the issue that is before the courts of law. We await for the decision from the court. However, it is imperative that we just wait patiently as the time and the stated date comes on, so that we move on. The election will carry on with or without these two candidates. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We do appreciate. Remember, this is Ubuntu channel, and you are listening or watching Point of View. Let's go to the next story, and on the other side, we get to analyze it.
Since the approval of the International Monetary Fund, IMF's $1.3 billion bailout package, government has vigorously launched the process of stabilizing the economy. And the IMF in Zambia says government is on the right track so far. IMF country representative Priya Sharma made the remarks during a stakeholder engagement in Lusaka.
This government is implementing the right policies to put the economy back on track. By restoring macroeconomic stability under the fund-supported programme, together with the assumed successful debt restructuring, we are looking forward to an economic recovery.
Finance Minister Situmbekom Sokotwane says government is restructuring the economy.
We will do everything possible to encourage investment in the country so that the economy does what? It grows. Because a bigger economy will be able to service the old debt that remains after restructuring. It will be able to service the concessional loans that we are getting from the IMF and the World Bank.
Meanwhile, various sector players have described Zambia's economic outlook as positive, following the approval of the IMF Extended Credit Facility Program. Bankers Association of Zambia President Mizinga Melu has encouraged citizens to take advantage of the appreciation of the local currency, while the Zambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry President Chabuka Kawesha says new sustainable job opportunities and viable SME investments are expected to be created.
If I'm importing goods from South Africa, from India, from China, now is the time, because you will find that it's actually much, much cheaper. You are spending much less kwacha to just get the same amount of rands that you were using not very long ago.
We look forward to real industrial and manufacturing growth in 2023 and beyond.
Economist Professor Oliver Sasa called for sufficient capacities to implement the targets under the program.
All the projected growth, whether we're talking about growing the economy itself in a liberalized economy, whether we're talking about employment creation, especially targeting the informal sector, the formal sector, but also particularly the youth in terms of employment, those will have to be facilitated by and generated by the private sector.
The IMF has so far disbursed over $195 million as first installment.
There we have it. IMF has come into fruition. What is your reaction to this one? Where do I start from? I can start from one next to me. Lawrence, quickly come in and tell us your reaction, to this story.
Well, first and foremost, it's important to acknowledge the fact that the New Dawn government, upon being sworn in to office, did promise that they are going to work hard to ensure that the IMF bailout package comes to fruition. And kudos to them, it has happened. Now, I should say it's great to see how especially the kwacha is performing of late. We are now doing way better than the rand. When we talk about the rebased kwacha, of course, it seems to be stronger than the rand and has gained momentum against major convertibles and all. But the problem is, I think it's important for a layman out there to be able to understand some of these things with ease. Why am I saying this? Kudos to the Ministry of Finance. They tried this week to publish the conditions attached to this whole package and all from the IMF, but I don't think the reading culture in this country is up to date and up to standard for everyone to read that bulky document and understand and all. So I expect the Ministry of Finance to follow up the program by educating the masses on what they should expect coming forth, especially when it comes to some of the subsidies that are going to be removed. For example, we have just been informed by the Ministry of Energy that those waived taxes that were applied on importation of petroleum products are coming back starting next month. Someone should be able to understand what that means and what they should expect. I think it's very important that the general populace and the general public out there understand exactly what they should expect, so that if things start going on, they should not say they did not know, or at least people should know when we reach at this stage, we know we are going to unlock this package and unlock that kind of incentives and all that, and this is the direction we are moving. It's important for communication to take place in this case, and it's important for the government actually to consider carrying everybody on board, because this is not something that is only going to affect the upper members. Even the people in the companies should know what exactly is happening. I think I rest my case on that.
Thank you so much, Lawrence. We do appreciate. Mr. Mkeleba, you may please come in and get to add your voice there.
Thank you. Thank you, is it Chaza? Thank you. Well, like Lawrence has put it, the government has actually demonstrated that they are not a lip service government. They are an action-oriented government, and everything that they had promised, it barely a year plus, they are fulfilling almost most of their promissory notes they gave us. We see results we see the fruits already. Of course, the dividends, they are yet to come. We cannot just start harvesting the benefits now. They will take time, but we can tell from the performance of our currency that is doing well. And we can tell from the global world that our country has been put on the map, and everyone is appreciating. Our brothers and sisters in Africa, they are looking forward to find out how Zambia has managed to put their country up there. You know, it is quite inspiring. So we just need to rally behind the current government as they are advancing their vision, the Zambian vision, which is our vision as well. And this is why we voted them in, and we removed the party goers, the people who were basically partying. They did not have any heart for the Zambian. They were there to just show their selfish interest by enriching themselves, as we can tell from the evidence that we can see what the ANC is busy forfeiting, seizing, and ongoing cases that are being investigated in the courts of law, that these guys, they were not there to play. But when there's this gentleman with a vision came into power, we can already see that all the ministers and everyone in the government, they are busy on their feet, working 24/7, which is the culture that we need. With regards to reading, Zambians can read. Bunanganifye. We can read. And those conditions from the IMF, they are already available on our fingertips. And we can only advise the Minister of Information with their team to translate some of the conditions into local languages so that we can have the conditions being read to every Zambian out there that cannot express themselves in the Queen's language. And otherwise, that's what I can say for now. Otherwise, kudos to the UPND and the New Dawn government for the IMF deal. And this has made the other camp not happy because they failed. And when they see success, instead of standing and applauding and give credit, you hear them coming up with all this negative and propaganda. So we just look at them now because we know Ababufi of Obaba. So we just have to appreciate what this gentleman and the team are doing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mkeleba. We do appreciate, due to a number of stories that we have to look at, we'll quickly get to the next story. Then, the other panelists will get to add their voices to the next one. Quickly, let's do that.
1991 will always remain a memorable year for Zambia, as it is the year in which then Republican President Frederick Chiluba declared it as a Christian nation, meaning that the country is guided by Christian morals.
I likewise submit the government and the entire nation of Zambia to the Lordship of Jesus Christ. Amen. I further declare that Zambia is a Christian nation.
It is in line with the same that indecent exposure and issues pertaining to same-sex relationships are prohibited under the laws of Zambia. Happenings at a recently held social event known as the Lusaka July, which aims at blending the sport of polo and fashion, has caused a lot of talk in the country, with some expressing concern over how men wore female garments and makeup. Others have expressed concern over what they term as high levels of indecent exposure that was exhibited through some costumes, stating that this is corrupting the country's morals. In an interview, former Minister of National Guidance and Religious Affairs under the Patriotic Front, Godfrida Sumaili, has warned that unless implementation of existing laws is applied aggressively, the country's Christian status may be compromised.
And the first value that is stated is morality and ethics. This is very, very embarrassing. It is shameful and is totally unacceptable to us as a people. And I'm just wondering, where is our government? Where is our government when these things are happening? We know we are a nation of laws. The rule of law should prevail in our nation. We have the laws, but why are we not implementing those laws?
In a separate interview, the Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia EFZ, through its executive director Bishop Andrew Mwenda, says the onus is on the police to act on the happenings.
The police must have known what was going on. They should have walked in and gone in there and closed it or just stopped it. We need to stop this. However, even as a church, we don't want to be reacting to this thing every now and then, because we believe that we are a nation of laws. The laws of this country do not permit that kind of a thing to take place. No one is permitted to walk in nudity like that in this country. So, let's begin to think about it. But if you ask about what's the thoughts of the church says this thing must be banned unless there's a change in the way the organizers will have to organize it.
They have stated that safeguarding the country's morals is paramount to keeping the society away from moral decay. Zipporah Mshala, come.
That was, a story about the Lusaka July that has been seen as an avenue to displaying, gayism and lesbianism, not forgetting, the manner of dressing that has been criticized and has sent, the public into uproar. What is your reaction to that? I'll start with a lady this time around. Himba.
Hi, Chaza. Thank you so much. Chaza, this whole thing should be banned. I agree with the Evangelical Fellowship. It should not be allowed in our country. Because what is the objective of this whole activity? What are we trying to achieve at the end of the day as a nation? What are we trying to achieve? I mean, we are Africans, we are Zambians, we've got our morals that we are identified with. Is this who we are? No. Is this, what are you trying to achieve? What do you want to achieve tomorrow? Because whatever you do, you should have an objective. So literally, for me, this is a no thing and it should be banned. There's nothing we are learning from it. There's nothing our children, they are learning from it. There's no anything beneficial from it. That's for me. And above all, having said that, our former minister, the Luna Wakwata voice, today she's got a voice. Where was she when the country was being gassed? Why was she quiet? Today she can speak because she's out of, or she can see wrongs. Ero bale tu gassing abali kwisa. Ero bale tu fula bana mayo. Bali kwisa ba minister. Ba former minister. Lelo bakwate shiwe. Abamubalanda tinsoni ebuntu. I rest my case.
Thank you so much, Himba. We do appreciate. Ruben, quickly, your reaction to this story at hand.
Thanks very much, Chaza. I concur with Himba that it's surprising that now Reverend Sumaili can start condemning and calling upon the police and the law enforcers to really arrest the people that attended that event. When the time when she was a minister, a lot of things happened. We had the videos that were going around when she was a minister. She didn't say anything because she was a member of the party. We saw a lot of things like women being stripped naked. Just at government complex, she was quiet. She didn't say anything. Then today she comes up and she's condemning the event. It's very embarrassing on her side. Banning that event, I'm not so sure if that's the whole purpose of why that event was created by the PR girls. It would be interesting maybe to call them and hear exactly what are the objectives of that event, and then see to it how they can prevent, because sometimes you can organize an event and then the people that come or that attend the event come and spoil it with their own programs. So it's better to see to it. Let them learn from this event. If really they are not, if the event objective is not the gayism as it's coming out now, let them sit down, plan, and see to it how they can really create a better event next year. Thanks, Chaza.
Thank you so much. We'll now get to Rebet. Quickly add your voice to this story that we have. Rebet, are you there? It appears he's not there. That being the case, I'll go to Mr. Mkelewai.
Hello, good evening once again. Good evening. I will try to be a devil's advocate on this one. I'm so sorry, you guys. I know you Zambians, we are so much religious, and we condemn everything that we perceive naked as a sin, or when we see something different from us, and we already rush into those conclusions. Anyway, that's everybody's opinion, and they can come up with anything. But from what I saw that event, it was never an event of promoting gayism or homosexuality. To me, what I saw was an achievement, or rather an initiative by two young ladies that decided to go into style and designing clothes. And when you look at the main core business behind that, that was amazing. You can see the gift and the art, and models can be anybody, whether male or female. Unfortunately, we have a religion that we are trying to protect. In my opinion, this religion, you know where we came from. We as Africans, when we see those clothes and I hear people talking about nakedness or exposure, indecent exposure, I'm just laughing to myself to say, how? What happened to the olden days when we used to wear animal skins just to cover the private part and the breast? Some, they didn't even do that. Where were the morals? You mean at that time we didn't have morals? What is going on? We inherited these things from our so-called Western. Anyway, let me not go into that because that's another topic of the day, because I feel we are too much in judging other people. Even when the Bible itself tell us homosexuality, you have to understand, people have to come out, but not when someone is just dressed as a male figure or female figure, and then here we are rushing into conclusion. Tuila tukila kushita conclude because that we shive what is behind the closed doors. What goes on behind closed doors is none of our businesses. The problem is we rush in concluding, and that's why we make our mistakes. And when we take matters, for example, to court, and then we realize, we discover the truth comes out, then we start pointing fingers. Yo, very much the corrupt, or yo, I think we were wrong. I think it's the law that is not okay. It's us. We do rush in concluding. We allow to kill and conclude. Let us have well-informed information about certain individuals that we perceive they are gay, even when they are not. Some is just a style. Some is business. Anyone can decide to do whatever. It does not mean you're promoting gayism. Tulabutukila, ukupanga holy. When we are the West, you look at the people that are corrupt in this country, stealing, killing people. Le lomuye mulande pabantu abalechita model at their moral decays. Let's not be hypocrites.
Thank you so much. That was Mr. Mukelewa. I can, I do have a feeling that, Lawrence is probably itching to add his voice to this story. Lawrence, please do come in.
Thank you so much. I was I was actually agreeing with Mukelawa to some extent, and then he completely lost me, and he's left me in the jungle with his views. But all the same, I think I've heard Ruben trying to find out, trying to ask to say we should find out from the PR girls what exactly that event is all about. First and foremost, the Lusaka July actually is more or less like a copy from the Durban July in South Africa. I think I've seen that. The whole essence of the event is bringing together entertainment and tourism. All in all, that is the whole purpose of the event. Now, what usually happens at Lusaka July is this: the organizers will come up with a theme and send it out to those celebrities they'll invite to say, our theme this year, like this year, for example, was something to do with emerald or something in those lines. So the designers have each and every celebrity has to come up with a dress code, a design, and all that, and come and showcase it. Now, of course, we've been feeding this horse for a very long time. We've seen some people who call themselves hairstylists and all that, dressing and calling themselves female names and behaving like women, and we've been entertaining them. Check their Facebook pages; they have got thousands of followers, very big pages, and we have been quiet all along. And now the fact that some more actually people did not know turned up at the event, and it's tarnished the whole image of the event. At the end of the day, I think we've been feeding this horse for some time, and what we have been cheering on, because it used to come out as comedy, as something fun. We've been clapping for them, we've been laughing at the jokes, we've been laughing at them, following them, and watching them or watching their videos on social media and all that. Now the reality is here. This is when we are all waking up to say, oh, now it's like the number is increasing. Actually, to be honest, they are many. Gayism is actually happening in Zambia. That's just the honest truth. But to paint the whole event as in it was a parade of gays, I think is wrong on my part, because the truth of the matter is that the whole essence of the event is to bring about tourism, fashion, designing, and entertainment to come and showcase what they can do, and that is what has been happening, because this event has been happening for I think 3 or 4 years now, and we've been watching it. This time around, it's only because the number of people we perceive to be gay increased, and we are tarnishing the whole image of the event. So going forward, I think the PR girls should know better, and should avoid such kind of negative criticism, and should put in place some measures to prevent this occurrence again. That's all I can say. But all in all, it's quite a good initiative, and it's kind of something that has to be supported. And I'm told the Ministry of Tourism through the National Arts Council also partnered with the PR girls to have this event come to people. So it's like we have, the government is already involved in this. That's the information that I have read somewhere, and I think in the statement the PR girls mentioned that as well. So which is just about coming up with measures to prevent some things from happening that were not so much relatable in our society and in our culture. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ribet. Are you back in?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You can quickly get to add your voice also to this story before we get to the next one.
Yeah, thank you very much. You see, when we talk of
you are too faint. You are too faint. Maybe you may try to raise the volume on your device.
Yeah, Jinka. Can you hear me?
Yes, but faintly. Try to go ahead, and we see if along the way the signal may improve.
Okay. Yeah, I want to agree with the Lawrence. You see, it's only that we have got perception already. I also want to divert. You know, the problem that we have as Africans specifically, you know, there are things that we allow to happen within ourselves, then later on we condemn. and I would want to say that we are being reactive than being proactive. Because these days, as Mukeraba had said, that it's fashion. You see now a lot of those days it used to be a taboo to see a man actually like these days so those are the things that you see now, men with the studs, men with the powdering, all those things. So the moment you see that the man now has started powdering, man now has started doing the hair salon, now man has started putting lipstick. God created us differently. It was not a mistake. We were designed differently with a woman and a man. But now, we are not refusing to say that the fashion has come. No, but the fashion, yes, has come. But let the fashion be for a man and a woman. So the reactive that we are seeing now, because we have seen these things, but back in our homes, we have been seeing these things because we allow our children now to start plaiting hair, men. We allow now men to start putting on dresses for ladies, which is a taboo for us as Africans, to be particularly a Zambian. It's not. That's where now the moral issue comes in. But we are being reactive instead of proactive. Of course, if we are going to be proactive, let's see to it that these children that we are raising, a man, if it's a girl should know that these are the things that a man or a boy should do. A boy should know that these are the things that a woman should do. The moment you start now allowing them, doing them, then at the later stage, when they become now on the stage, you start condemning them. That where are the morals? But you have been watching them. So that's where the problem is. Let's go back on the drawing board. Where are we coming from? Because even that the skins that were the Movita was Mukerawa was talking about. Of course, at that time we didn't have something to wear, but now we have something to wear for a man and for a woman. So let's follow those. I rest my case.
Thank you so much. We do appreciate Ribet for that. Let's quickly get to the next story and see you on the other side.
Rumors of some civil servants being placed on the government payroll without being employed in the civil service seemed like a lie, but alas, the rumors have finally become a reality. Monday, 5th September 2022, the Auditor General's office briefed the media in Lusaka that an audit on the government payroll was conducted and that it was discovered that more than 7.7 million kwacha was paid to 9,800 ghost workers between 2017 and 2021. The Auditor General, Dr. Dixie Chimba, says the ghost workers are from 19 different government ministries.
During the period under review, 19 ministries had 9,800 unaccounted for officers who were paid salaries in amounts totaling to 707,633,806 as at 31st July 2022.
In addition, 18 government institutions had recruited over 13,000 people without Treasury Authority, while the Ministry of Education illegally put 299 teachers on the payroll without approval by the Teaching Service Commission.
239 officers who were paid amounts totaling to 70,305,937 were irregularly recruited by 4 institutions in that there was no appointment letters. Further, the Ministry of Education introduced 299 teachers on the payroll who received salaries in amounts totaling to 3,056,013 without authority from the Teaching Service Commission.
While some retirees have been frequently banging on the doors of the government to have their salaries paid, some retirees who have already gotten their benefits continued to draw allowances from the government in a sum of 236,987,447 kwacha.
1,127 retirees drew salaries in amounts totaling to 236,987,447, despite the retirees having been paid their benefit.
There are those huge, colossal sums of money, being lost by government. I'd call it, theft by, employees or workers that do not exist at all. Your reaction on this issue? Let's get to start with you, Ruben.
Thanks very much, Chaza. Quite interesting. This country also has got a lot of issues. Really, if we can have more than 1,000 ghost workers, then I don't know what we can take us serious. If we can take ourselves serious as a country, really having more than 1,000 ghost workers, it's laughable. One, where was the Auditor General's office? This thing was supposed to be a yearly program where they're reviewing or investigating or checking through the payroll. But you said the investigations were covering a review from 2017 to 2021. That's about three years. Okay, so really, I tend to wonder where was the Auditor General's office, where was ACC, and where was DEC? And now that these things have been revealed, let's start seeing arrests. And going forward, I hope the government won't freeze these positions. Let them be given to people that really deserve these jobs. Instead of closing up these positions, let them be given to Zambians that really deserve these jobs. This is also an opportunity to the youths that really desire the jobs. Thank you very much, Chaza.
Thank you so much. We do appreciate Himba. What is your say on this issue?
Thank you so much, Chaza. It's like in comedy. When you're listening to this briefing, we feel like it's comedy. Literally, as Ruben has said, how do you have all these ghost workers? And I would have loved, they've just said during the period of review, I would have wanted during the specific period when these ghost workers were paid. We have ghost workers employed with no appointment letters. Ni government ni chintobe. What is this all about? How do we call this? It's a shame as a country. It's embarrassing. So nishibantu benze mu offices or bali mu offices, what are they doing? What are they being paid for? And me, there's one question which has always bothered me. Where are my ghost workers? Who withdraws money for them? Who gets this money? So can these people be identified and pay back our money? We need it. They should pay back our money. Obviously, when my accounts, may those accounts be followed and we retrieve our money. And then there's something just going through at the back of my mind. If honestly we have people who are getting paid, my ghost workers. So if we had really people being employed in these positions, unemployment level would have gone down in our country. Because people would have been employed. Then Ndibafola is in drama. If we can manage to look after ghost workers as a nation, as a government, why can't we manage to look after human beings? I mean, that's just my thinking. Anyway, Chaza. So Vipanga saying, see, and I think a lot needs to be done in 20 ministries. A lot need to be done, and may these people pay back our money. Hivi vibanda hivi nga vichoka kulepa dzinga ni kumutumbi zilipire ndrama. We need our money back. Chaza, I rest my case.
Thank you so much, Himba. We do appreciate that. CJ, as you are smiling, laughing about the issue, let us know what's your viewpoint on the issue.
Yeah, you know, such reports show that the system is totally corrupt. Okay, because there are supposed to be controls. Whenever they do a head count in a department, and they are doing their checks, and you know, such things always are supposed to come up when they check what the people that are actually in whether it's a department, the like, and what the payroll is showing. Okay, so when systems are not working, or when systems have been corrupt, whether deliberately or otherwise, these are the things that happen. The Auditor General, the Auditor General's team doesn't seem to have tooth to bite where things are not correct, and you know, such things continue happening. So there is need to give them more power, more teeth, so that when such things are discovered, they can really move in, and you know, prosecutions are made. Okay, it's like this thing of they just investigate their, when they find their findings, they hand them over, whether it's to ACC, Zambia police. At the end of the day, we just hear stories, investigations ongoing. It's high time that, you know, the whip was cracked, and such things were prosecuted and properly followed up, so that those that are involved, they pay back. Okay, that's when this kind of system override and this kind of corruption can be sorted out. Otherwise, if we have the same system, this will continue going on. And this is not the first time that we are hearing of such reports. It's year in, year out, we hear all these things. Even when the FIC report, when it comes out, we hear all these things, but when it comes to prosecutions, there's nothing. So there is need for the government to really put things in order, and prosecutions to be made, and these things to be made public. So many people were arrested for such and such offense. Maybe they're the ones that were employing or authorizing these same ghost workers, like payments to these same ghost workers and the like. So basically, the system needs to be cleaned up, and let the Auditor General be given more teeth so that they are able to bite. Thank you.
Thank you so much, CJ. Mr. Mkeleba, what's your say?
Thank you so much, Chaza. It's a sad development, and this is what I was talking about earlier. You say we try to praise or demonize certain activities and support other criminal activities. Where are the morals? These are the morals we're talking about. Even the people that we're receiving salaries, when they know they have not even lifted a pen, themselves should have actually had the audacity to simply, if they were moral upright, they were better than gay people, they ought to have just come out and say, look, now we account yandi by accident. But where they all kept quiet, they are there, they are listening. They're even worried that we are talking about it. They don't even want us to talk about it, because they know that if we follow, because money leaves trails, and if we investigate properly, definitely we are going to find the recipient, because you cannot just receive a salary without your NRC, without your details from any bank institutions. We have the system. The problem is the moral decay within ourselves, and our leaders at the time, they were just slapping people with employment, even when they did not qualify, even when they were not even authorized by the institution that are that in charge of certain profession. So to me, there you are. That is the moral code. That's the moral decay we're talking about. You cannot go around and start attacking people there. You have no idea what goes on within Muma bedroom yabo. And we leave people that are stealing from our coffers. Indalama baya mukusenda, baya mukufola. When you know you have not even worked at the Vamahala. Those are the chaps that need to be locked up. And I believe that Madam Chilwa and the group and the police, fraud department, this is where you shine, not just viva voce, pakanwa, to action. That's what I can say for now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mukelewai. Unfortunately, due to time, Lawrence and Ruben, I'll give you 1 minute each to add your voice to this story. Let's start with you, Lawrence.
Okay, thank you. Most of the things have been said by my fellow panelists here, but I think it's high time we found out why is it so easy for someone to be on payroll and yet they are not employed, or I mean they are not even there in person working. I think the reason is simple. It's very difficult for government institutions to even do work appraisals on anyone to know what kind of input they put in. I think that is not even there. It's easier, no matter how big a private company is, when one person is not there, I think it's very easy to notice that this person is not around because they have got duties they're supposed to perform and no one will do them for them. But in this case, someone can be getting paid as a teacher and yet they are not there they are not there at any school teaching. And this is a problem for me. I think we need to have administrators in the various organs of government that are actually taking note of each and every government worker's input. I think it will work in that way. I think that's the best way we can resolve some of these things. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Ruben.
Thanks, Chaza. I think I had spoken earlier on, but since you've given me this some additional time, I'll just say, actually, let the AG, the Auditor General, publish the names. We want to see who is there actually, who is the ghost worker. Let them publish the names. We see them. Thank you, Chaza.
I agree with you.
Yeah, because we might see some familiar names actually.
We can do our own investigations as well.
Expose those people in those departments, those who were in authority, those who were in charge. We're paying them money to look after or to pay monies to the right individual, but they through their omissions and their negligence, they are liable. Then therefore they need to be either be punished as well, vicariously.
We even have genuine workers who have not been on payroll for the last 3 years.
What do you mean genuine?
People who are employed, but whatever means, whether genuine or whatever or illegitimate, but they have been working actually and are not on payroll. And we have ghost workers who are not there and are getting paid.
So it is management at the end of the day. That's why leadership plays a very pivotal role. That's why we are crying. That's why today Lomba, ama MPs won't say whether you are opposition or you are independent. Today Milomba, let us clean up our system. And the only best way to clean up this system is to put up an emotion on the floor of the house to bring Volungu so that he can answer some of these issues. He has answers with his people. So let's remove his immunity and bring him, and we'll exonerate him as the people.
Again, we need your list for those ghosts. We need the list with NRC numbers. And then if they'll give us a list, vatipa as a list, we should, if mu ministry muchoka kanga bali 1,000 or bali 50, we should demand that they employ people who are alive, not who are dead. Tayaona na mazina, if they were able to look after the ghosts, they can look after human beings. Period.
Even their passport size photos, if possible, ghosts can have passport size photos.
Thank you.
Even
All right,
fingerprints.
all right, all right. Thank you so much. My panelists, my guests, my analysts. You've been so good, and I greatly appreciate you, Mr. Mkelewai, Himba, Lawrence, Ruben, CJ, not forgetting Ribet, who actually fell off along the way. It's been a great show, great program tonight. Point of view. Until next time, I've been your host. My name is Chaza. God bless you.
And good night.